In this week's edition of the Friday ranking videos, it's time to cast our minds back to November 2014, when a brand new TV show aired called Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom ran for 2 seasons, concluding at its 104th episode back in March of 2018. And how exactly was the show? It was alright. The show definitely had a mixed bag of episodes. Some were actually pretty good, while others existed. And today, it's about time we take another look at these bad episodes and revisit the top 10 worst Sonic Boom episodes across the 2 seasons. So strap yourselves in, because I don't think you're ready for what's been put in number 10. What? I told you weren't ready. I know what you're thinking. Crocko, did you really just rank the very first Shadow the Hedgehog episode, the season 1 finale, on a list of the top 10 worst episodes? Yes, I did. Obviously, it's awesome to see them introduce Shadow, and the Sonic vs Shadow fight was the highlight of the episode. However, there really isn't a whole lot of interest to be seen outside of the main attraction. This is meant to be a climactic episode, with all the main villains gathering together, but honestly, none of these villains are remotely worth going crazy about. On top of that, we waste a couple minutes of the show with our villains rambling on about some random crap.
As anyone with even a cursory knowledge of the sci-fi classic Battle Force Galaxia knows.
Shut the fuck up.
And then this.
Zip! Zap!
Are we serious right now? We literally only have 11 minutes for an episode. Why the hell are we wasting minutes on this crap? Sonic Boom episodes only last for 11 minutes, and so much of this episode is wasted on meaningless subplots, like the DIY project and the pointless argument on who the leader should be, reducing the time we have for the main fight. I understand this whole episode can't just be Sonic vs Shadow for 11 minutes, but I think they did a terrible job of everything else around this episode, and Eggman is just so dumb in this episode. Overall, really terrible finale. I'm glad they gave Shadow a much better episode in season 2. Sorry title, but I'm judging this episode. It's trash. So Eggman has become a Karen and is suing Sonic for an alleged injury sustained in a battle. The villagers, dumb as ever, decide to side with the person that has tried to kill them hundreds of times instead of the person who has saved them hundreds of times. What? And this episode just drags on and on, with a long courtroom gag of Sonic's friends being terrible representatives, and an absolute abundance of problems with the plot itself. 1. Why is an Eggman robot the judge of an Eggman court case? Does the Sonic Boom village not have an elected judge? Because if so, this courthouse should not legally be allowed to function. 2. How does a criminal like Eggman even have the legal right to a court case? The townspeople have every right to arrest Eggman on the spot, with the mountain of evidence built up against him over the years. And 3. Why are the townspeople so sympathetic with Eggman in the first place? And this has to be one of Eggman's lamest schemes across the whole show. In fact, the whole franchise, while I'm thinking about it. Oh, I'm gonna get Sonic arrested! You do know they'll just bail him out the moment you attack the village, right? Yeah, this one is just a boring, pathetic attempt at a courtroom-themed episode. On the surface, Aim Low isn't too bad of an episode, but look a little deeper and you'll realize this plot is just weird. So Eggman finally gets his ass kicked one too many times and loses all motivation, giving up his villainous ways. The village is saved! No. Sonic and his friends will motivate Eggman to get back into villainy?
Are you kidding me?
This man right here has been harassing you for decades, destroying villages, putting people's lives in peril, splitting the damn planet into pieces at one point, and you want him to get back into his evil ways because Sonic is bored? Find him a hobby or something. And while I get this is a more humorous take on Eggman, this is just so out of character for him. And how do we finally remotivate Eggman to get back into his villainous ways? By having Sonic start an argument with him. Look, I understand that these episodes are short and we need to get through the plot quickly, but this is just one of the problems that tethers down the show. A lack of screen time means that the plot has to just be resolved way too quickly. We all love a good villain, and I appreciate the show trying to incorporate a new villain, but Dave the Intern is the worst excuse for a villain that I have ever seen in any show. Now yes, I get it. This show is for kids and he's supposed to be a comic relief villain, but that doesn't change the fact that he's such a dull character. And what the hell is his laugh?
Don't ever do that again.
Dave finally succeeds in capturing Eggman in his basement, but this is short-lived as the episode's almost hit its runtime, so Sonic is quick to come in and set the Doctor free. Cue an even more rushed conclusion as Eggman just gives Team Sonic the cheat codes for defeating Octobot, and Dave the Intern is just left there? Not even gonna arrest him or anything? Just gonna leave him there to commit more crime? It's okay, moving on. Now, I'm not going to say I dislike Styx, but oh my god, this episode has no reason to exist. Styx believes that seeing a cross-eyed moose brings bad luck, so we got to find a mystical marmoset that lives in the jungle. When they do find the marmoset, the writers go into turmoil as we've reached a marmoset and we're only 5 minutes into the story. We've still got 6 minutes of filler to pad out. What are we going to do? First, some random chores? And secondly, a random Eggman intervention.
I'm here about the curse of a cross-eyed moose.
Why are you here?
So I think we can both agree that this episode struggled to reach the runtime. Cool, they're giving Styx her own episode, but this payoff was not worth it. I think we can all collectively agree Eggman is definitely up there in the top 3 best characters in the show. However, this episode undermines those qualities. In the episode Strike, Eggman is just such a poorly written character, devoid of his most prominent qualities. While it's nothing out of the ordinary for Eggman to be a dick to his robots, this episode has him acting unnaturally stupid and unfair to them. Eggman asks,
I need you to go into the village and get me about 100 decorative rocks for my garden.
the robots grab the rocks, and suddenly it's...
Rocks? That was like 18 hours ago. Carry them all the way back and return them.
What? Why is Eggman trolling? And then Eggman's dumbest moment in the whole show, being incapable of cleaning up a broken coffee cup. Like, is your brain screwed on backwards, mate? Are you actually serious? Either grab a Henry Hoover or a dustpan and brush and do it yourself. Or use a little bit of initiative and use your vacuum bot. Why is he using burn bots and mail bots and the fucking fire bot? Like, dude, stop. That's like using a chainsaw to chop vegetables. Like, yeah, of course it's not gonna work, dipshit. Just because Knuckles is absent from this episode does not mean we need another dumb character. And the stupidity continues as Eggman recruits the villagers. We waste a further few minutes with the traitorous villagers being crap at everything. And boom, that's Strike in a nutshell. Conclusion, don't watch it. Do I have to talk about this episode? So Sonic says a naughty phrase.
What a f***ing...
Oh, no, not that one. It's worse.
You're just a guy.
I am shocked and appalled.
Kids growing up with Sonic must feel betrayed, hearing such slander. And if you aren't already on the floor crying, Sonic proceeds to destroy the entire village.
You people...
Okay, let's get serious. Just a guy cements the reason why people hate the villagers so much. They're so ungrateful, worthless, unlikable nobodies. Sonic and friends save them on a regular basis, but are they appreciative?
No!
Instead, they only care about the fact that Sonic said a no-no, and that's quite literally the whole premise of this episode.
We begged him to stop, but he just kept berating the poor fella.
No, he didn't. Why the f*** is this guy lying about the guy who saves his life on the daily?
That's Sonic, living it up on the beach. He's lost touch with the common man.
And this is just unnecessary. Who cares where this guy lives? Just because your broke ass probably lives in an Angry Birds looking shack doesn't mean you have to take it out on Sonic.
He's just a guy.
You hypocrite!
But for all this episode's flaws, I do really love the part where Sonic starts venting. Let's start off with the positives of this episode first. This joke,
Well, then put it in the blender. Well, if you say so. The chili dog, not the baby!
and Lady Walrus is oddly more amicable in this episode. As for the negatives, boring plot, Amy's more aloof behavior, and this fucking baby. Oh, this baby is so annoying. We do not need a babysitting plot in a Sonic show. All because Sonic and gang are irresponsible drivers. And what kind of parent would entrust her child with the person who put her in the hospital? Ugh, I hate this episode.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize this boring action sequence was getting in the way of your enthralling babysitting escapades.
This guy right here may just be one of the worst characters in the whole show. And that is saying something. After saving the village for the millionth time. Wait, what?
The millionth time?
One more time?
The millionth time?
I'm not even gonna bother doing pointless maths here. Just acknowledge it, it's ridiculous and we can move on, alright? After saving the village for the millionth time, Sonic and friends are finally looked up to by the general public. At least for this one episode anyway. They must be well behaved, or Platypus here is gonna blow his whistle. And boy does he. The fact that the side character is more antagonizing than the main villain really says a lot. And my pick for the #1 worst episode in the entirety of Sonic Boom is 925 Knuckles. Oh my god, what were they thinking when they conceived this travesty of an episode? So Knuckles wins a lamp, and he needs a place to call home to store said lamp. And how does this plot go from there? Knuckles gets a real day job to pay off his bills. What the yeah, we wasted an entire episode on Knuckles getting a day job. And this plot follows the old dumb character makes a mess someone calls art cliche. So this plot is even original! Sonic and gang are going on an exciting adventure, facing Eggman bots we've never even seen before, while we watch this. And if you don't agree an office job doesn't belong in a Sonic show, there is literally no point to this story, as Amy decides to review the contract at the end of the episode, and Tails is like, oh, you could just put the lamp in my workshop anyway. What's the point? Okay, I'm done. 9 to 5 Knuckles sucks. Have a nice day, everyone. I'm going to bed.